Yeah, this is an odd one. They've used one central tree and then picked up branches, intertwined them around the tree into a proper teepee structure. You notice how interweaved these branches are as well, all the way up, all interweaved into one another. All of them deadwood branches picked up. The thing is, there's bushcraft, there's really no room inside. There's just not any room at all. Wouldn't make any sense. You couldn't stand up in there. It'd be difficult getting in there on all fours anyway. And it offers no shelter. No wind, no rain, shelter. Another strange anomaly. Okay, march on. This thing. Little look this thing. Just find it all a bit strange. Doesn't matter where you go, what woods we go to, you always find the same. Always come across these structures, and all of them inadequate, totally inadequate for any use for bushcraft, a hide, still not big enough. And if it was a hide, there would be more camouflaged. Right, let me just let's grab the things. Yeah, right. Okay. Right, it's okay. Yeah, it's good. Come on. Welcome to the Interdimensional Voyages, and this is Dogman Teepee Hunting. The Interdimensional Voyages is a channel on my YouTube, more of a podcast channel. But this week I'd like to talk about the dog-headed people of India and of other countries as well. Okay, I'll start off with a bit of background. The stories come from the Indica, or the history of India, from ancient Greece. The oldest is attributed to Stasis of Sindus, who is said to have travelled with the failed rebellion of Cyrus, the same trip as Xenophon. He gathered his account from stories the Persians told. The following is taken from the summary made by the Byzantine scholar Photius in his Bibliotheca. As coincidence would happen, somebody got in touch with me recently, very recently, about an account. They had no idea I was doing this, about an account that happened in India. Now, I've asked for permission. If they get back to me in time, then I will drop it on this video and this podcast. If they don't, then that's fine as well. If they do, and I missed this one, I'll stick it on another one. Okay. This wood was, once again, part of Epping Forest. Been subdivided up now by the town of Epping. So it's been cut off basically. But due to unforeseen circumstances with traffic, we didn't quite make it to where we wanted to go today, so we thought we'd just stop off, get the dogs out. You can see there's Basil. There's Ruby over there. Good boy, can come on. Account 1 from Photius in his Bibliotheca. On these mountains, he says, there are men who have dog's head. They wear clothing from wild animals. They do not speak with a voice, but they bark like dogs, and thus understand one another. They have larger teeth than a dog, and have claws similar to them, but they are larger and rounder as well. They live in the mountains near the river Indus. They are dark-skinned and completely just like the rest of the Indians they encounter. They know the language of the other Indians, but they cannot speak it. Instead, they just make signs by barking or with their hands and digits, like sign language. Hear anything? Let me know in the comments, that'd be great. They are called by the Greeks dogheads. Their tribe is almost 120,000 strong. Stesis of Cynos, the Greek who took these accounts from the Persian stories, says the Cynocephali, the Greek word for dog-head people, who they live in the mountains, do not work the land, but instead live by hunting. They will kill their prey, they cook it in the sun, they do tend many sheep and goats, and donkeys. They drink milk and milk whey from sheep, and they eat the fruit of the Siptukara, which yields sweet amber. They dry this as well, and store it in baskets, in the way the Greeks store raisins. The Cynocephali build rafts, load them, and send them as tribute, which includes the amber, prepared purple flowers with 260 talents of amber annually, and as much purple dye, and they send 1,000 more talents as annual tribute for the king. The rest of the amber they sell to Indians for bread, grain and cotton. They also buy swords, which they use in hunting for their quarry, along with bows and javelins, for they are extremely talented at throwing javelins and shooting arrows. They are invincible in war because they inhabit mountains that are unreachable and high. The king gives them gifts every 5 years, 300,000 bows, the same number of spears, 120,000 shields, and 50,000 swords. Actually dug in here, it's like a part of a brick. Been there a long time. Been there a long time, put in between the tree. What I talk about next is probably not appropriate for younger ears. So if you want to skip this bit, it's about 5 minutes long, that's fine. I have to share it because I think it's only right to give you a good background on these creatures. It goes into some detail. So, okay, here we go then. The Cynocephali do not live in houses, but inhabit caves. They hunt wild animals with bows, javelins, and they overcome some by running, for they run quickly. The women wash themselves once a month whenever they have their periods, but do not otherwise. The men do not wash themselves, but they do wash their hands. They anoint themselves with oil made from milk, and they wipe themselves with skins. They do not have hairy raiment. Now, raiment is a French word for clothing in the old days. So their clothing wasn't hairy, if you like. But the women and men wear skins that are well tanned. So basically they They have clothing like leathers, like we would. Yeah, they're not hairy at all. The wealthiest wear linen, but they are very few. They do not have beds, but they made piles of straw. The man who has the most sheep is considered the wealthiest. The case is similar with their possessions. All of them have tails which sit above their hips like dogs, but they are longer and hairier. They have sex with the females on all fours, just like dogs. It is considered shameful to have sex in any other way. They are just, and they are, the most long-lived of all men, for they live 170 to 200 years. Okay, just to break it down so far, we are at these dog-headed people live in caves. They also have claws, which are longer than a dog's claw, and teeth as well. So the claws are more rounded, but the teeth are longer as well than a dog's teeth. They walk on two legs, so they're bipedal. They trade with locals, so they don't grow their own grain or food in the ground. They do tend to animals, but they trade locally. They build rafts and send their goods up or down river to trade, and what is important to them are things like bread and cotton, unusually enough as well. So they obviously do make and tan their own clothing, gain cotton as well, which would be, I guess, for clothing as well. They're also expert hunters, very, very quick afoot, so they can run, if not surpass, animals when hunting. So they run very, very quickly. They're absolute experts, so the account says, with weaponry. They have shields, javelins, swords. They're venerated, I would say, for their javelin throwing and spears. I mean, they're just an absolute army that lives in caves. I mean, just incredible, and the detail it goes into.
I can almost guarantee you'll come across structures and just odd things in all the woods. Like this, for instance. I mean, yeah, kids. Now, if I told you that I had seen traffic cones, I think one of them's called the Goliath traffic cone, recently on top of the tallest of lampposts. I'll stick the photos up on the video anyway. And if there was a spate of these traffic cones ending up in the highest like lampposts and other tall structures like that. But it's just not humanly possible. It's not something you could throw up there because they're too heavy. And there was a spate of these in Milton Keynes, I believe. But that's another thing. If I was to say, like, kind of a thought form, call it a thought form. You know, when you buy a car and it might be, you've never seen the car before and it's a yellow car. And then you go on the road and everywhere you see the same car as you and a yellow car. It's the same thing, I guess. But yeah, I've seen these traffic cones on top of the tallest of lampposts and stuff. But if you see any, take a photo and send it in to us. Email address is on my bio. Because I did catch an EVP. I have caught EVPs before. Also got, as you can see, a recorder, a separate one, microphone. It really could do with getting a folder full. It goes around, you want to record into the device on my shoulder, and please go ahead. That's fine. Say hello. Any entities at all that want to say hello, please record into the device on my shoulder. You know, I just spotted something. I love nothing better than seeing a tunnel. And that is where this little stream was coming from.
The blending of canine and human. It's disconcerting, really. It's also goes back a long thousands of years. The mythological to the cryptozoological basis. It comes from somewhere. It started somewhere. The folklore started somewhere. It's the blending, I think, of it's just we had for many years wolves, ancient wolves, dogs were used and domesticated. They were the first animal to be domesticated by humans. And we used to live in caves, and they were used for hunting, and they were used also for protection. But the step over the mark that maybe they could be a hybrid of Dogman, human hybrid werewolf creature. Logic says no, but accounts and people's sightings say yes. And it's I mean, it still remains quite alien, really. The idea of creatures that blend human and canine characteristics is disconcerting, but still it's there. It is there, and the reason it's there is because of people's accounts. Unless you just totally disregard what people see, hear and smell when they're out. I don't choose to do that. I choose to believe, not all, but some of the accounts. Some of them. Just because the people are so creditable, they're of such good standing. And they've got no reason. You've got to understand, there's no reason for people to come up with tales that put them in the spotlight, and they know they're going to get a certain amount of criticism thrown at them. They're going to be vindicated as being fanciful murmurings of just all lies. And I don't think people would put themselves in the firing line. Not everyone. They wouldn't put themselves in the firing line. To a certain degree, I go out. I do believe there is something out there, and I go out and I video structures. I also video and have captured what I believe to be dogmen, werewolves, the terminology I leave up to you, creatures.
Almost like there's been a
glowing
flash of
eyes,
energy.
some of them have glowing eyes,
But there's no
and the
surrounding
facial
torch
features of a
marks on the
dog.
ground to say it's been a fire.
Some of them morph.
And anyway,
I've
these
caught them
woods
as
and
some of them
forests,
morph
it's a bit of
in
a
or
strange
cloak
place. Why would you have
themselves.
in
They go
woods or
just,
forests?
they
Why would you
move so
stack up
quickly, they
woods and
disappear
burn
within a
it,
nanosecond.
potentially burn down a forest?
But yeah, it is. And these accounts
Not
that
recommended, not
I'm telling
good
you now
at all,
are
and
accounts
doesn't make any
from
sense.
philosophers
Right,
many years ago, but documented. And the documents have been saved and kept and, you know, read and reread, and they come from somewhere, and I think they come from a grain of truth. There is more to this world than meets the eye, as the old adage says, goes. But yeah, anyway, let's carry on. Just share with you one account I had with a person who I trust from the point of view of she's very matter of fact, and she is she says it as she sees it, never lied as far as I've known, and she just happened to mention one day we were talking about just paranormal stuff, and I said to her, I said, have you ever seen anything weird, or you know, kind of any cryptids or werewolves or things like that? And out of the blue she surprised me. She turned around and she told me this little story. Back in the 1970s, near to Chigwell in London, her and her sister, she was, I think she was 10 at the time, her sister was a little bit younger, and they had an outside toilet. Anyway, her sister went to use the toilet, and she went with her, the older sister went with her because, you know, she was a bit scared. So, and she stood outside the door. And her sister then, after sitting on the toilet, screamed and said to her sister, quick, come in. There was a face at a window. And she swore blind that when she looked at the window, there was like an Alsatian-headed thing, like a dog's head, like an Alsatian looking, and it scratched its claws against the window. Then she said as she looked through, she saw it running away, and it was wearing jeans and a t-shirt and had a mane, had a dog's head like an Alsatian, but wearing jeans, t-shirt, no shoes.
Yeah, so we've been walking for about an hour.
Now, that I found very strange. That shocked me, actually, because I didn't expect her to come up with that. Sometimes people, you know, you know the ones which are just kidders. But no, she's an actress out of the blue. And anything else, if you ask her about paranormal stuff, no, don't believe any of that. Don't believe any of that. No, Phil, don't believe in ghosts, don't believe in this. No. Possibly, might be, but no, I've never. And then she just came out with that all of a sudden. Yeah, that was quite odd. But anyway, what's your thoughts? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I really love to know. Do you think shapeshifters? I'm not so sure in this account, because on this account there's 120,000 of them, these dogmen people in India. Do you think it's that they interbred? Maybe. But again, I don't know. They seem to have all their faculties about them from the point of view of trade and had their own community. I don't know. Let me know what your thought is, and anyway, we'll carry on with the video. Okay.
Come on, Baz. Oh, that's a good idea. Put his lead on hers.
Give her a little bit more freedom.
Okay. Very good girl. These are really odd woods. These are odd woods, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very creepy. Well, that tree fell off.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Coming up to the little river now.
Huh?
Coming up to the little river with a crossing log. Yeah, the road.
That's in. That's close.
He loves it, isn't he? So, yeah.
That's great.
Hello. Come here. Come here. Come here. Basil, come here. Good boy. Good boy.
Let's see the cars over there.
Yeah, do. Good girl. Ah, look at him. Look at him. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, Sonny.
Okay, just to clarify, with
Yeah, that's it.
plantigrade, these creatures, with plantigrade, it means that the sole of the foot. So if you they make an imprint on the mud or the dirt, then it won't just
Yeah.
be the toes; it will be the sole of the foot that uh, they use as they walk. We do that. Humans do. Bears do. A number of other creatures do as well. Digit grade is where mostly they don't use the whole sole of the foot. They mostly use the toes in walking. Cynocephalus was the term used later on by the Greeks, more European Cynocephalus, and that encompasses a creature with a dog's head, and unlike dogmen, Cynocephali are generally human or humanoid from the neck down, but possess dog-like or wolf-like heads. While dogmen are really walk upright, bipedal as well, but they are more dog-like all over. Just to clarify on that. So next we come to the African Cynocephali, the dog-headed humanoids of Africa. Right, and this account is from Libya. Right, and I quote, after travelling the Egyptian oasis, one is confronted for 7 whole days with utter desert.
Yeah.
Beyond this lived the human Cynocephali. I think they mean Cynocephali. Along the road that leads to Ethiopia, it seems that these creatures live by hunting gazelles and antelope. Further, they are black in appearance and they have the head and teeth of a dog.
Okay.
Look, find that plank now, hold the plank. Look at that. There was a plank.
There was a plank, wasn't there?
Over there.
Oh, it's over there, yeah.
Oh, what's this here? Can you put it here?
That's a tiny little plank, isn't it?
Want me to have him? Oh, he's having a drink.
That's okay, that's quite good. Do you want me to take her? Hold on. Good girl. Good girl. Look. Hold on. Fingers will break if I don't. That's it. You go.
Yeah.
That's it.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Brilliant. Excellent. Look at that. You know, the old gymnastics. Come back in again, isn't it? Yeah, the old gymnastics come back in again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing how I dragged my poor arthritic leg over that anyway. I was like, quite surprised.
It's your hobbit feet, you see. They're more.
That's
firmly
it, more
fixed.
stable. Hobbit feet, yeah.
I've got tiny little trotters.
Yeah,
Tiny, tiny.
yeah. No, hobbit feet are very useful. I'm good in snow as well, I reckon.
Yeah, fancy.
Yeah, very good in snow.
Yeah. It's like a tiny ballerina thing.
Yeah.
Can't think of it.
No, no.
Interesting.
It'll make a lovely little home, and for a fairy, we'll say. And if there is any, when you know harm, I've got a recording device on my shoulder. Say hello. Give us your name. My name's Bill. And yeah. I can always come back another day. Oh, I'll tell you what I've got. Tell you what I have got on there. Hold on. Because they've been very, very good bubbers. Oh. Yeah. See what I've got. Right then. Who would like a snacky? You like a snacky, Ruby?
What have you got there? You got me up. Right. Is are they or are they the girl piglets that we never ate?
Ruby? Here you go. And also offering for the forest, for the woods, for letting us be here. Put it, Thank you very much for having us. It's been fun.
Ruby's like, you what? Put them where?
Look. No, Ruby, no, Ruby. Sorry. He's had yours. He's had yours. Okay. See, recording device. Always on. And then what I'll do later on, be able to play it back, and hopefully, if there's anything. Wouldn't be the first time I've caught an EVP. Okay. Off we go.
Despite their animalistic appearance, the tribes, especially in places like Libya, were described more or less as human barbarians. They were. They must have been absolute elite fighting force. I mean, it has been said previously that they were brilliant with spears, swords, swift of foot, could keep up with antelope and deer, and if not exceed the speed. Yeah, an absolute elite fighting force, and because of that, evidently the Libyan army apparently used them as an auxiliary force in their army, and there's other accounts as well where the army would pretend. So in Asia, with Asian Cynocephalia, there's both European and Chinese writers that spoke of tribes of Cynocephalia inhabiting Central Asia. Giovanni de Pian del Caprin reports a tribe of Cynocephalia living north of Lake Lake Baikal, that was encountered by the army of Ogadai Khan. This is written in the Wonders of the East, an old English document. They're described as having a horse-like mane, tusks and breath, like a blaze of fire. They are described in some sources as hairy giants. Now, with that as well, the army, they pretend that they have in their camps Cynocephalia. That is, men with dogs' heads. They spread the rumour among the enemy that these men wage war obstinately, sorry about that, drink human blood and quaff their own gore if they cannot reach the foe. So I guess they're pretty badass, long and short of it. So yeah, right, let's carry on with the video for a moment.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I had to go
Oh.
back to it.
Oh.
There's that feather. Remember, we passed it.
Yeah. Yeah, not too bad, these woods. Wonder if this is the lake the OS map was talking about.
Did you not hear that over there?
Yeah.
Like thousands of birds all at once sitting on.
I didn't hear that. I heard a thump.
Hear that? That's what we got there.
Yeah.
By contrast, to the Libyan and Asian Cynocephali, a more gentler creature is the Scottish Cynocephali. It's written about in Jessie Saxby's Shetland traditional lore. She explains the wolver, Scottish wolver, was a creature like a man with a wolf's head. He had short brown hair all over him. His home was a cave dug out of the side of a steep knoll halfway up a hill.
Yeah, I heard that.
He didn't molest folk if folk didn't molest him. He was fond of fishing and had a small rock in the deep water which is
Yeah,
known
I heard that.
to this day as the Wolver Stone
I heard that. That sort of kind of squeaking.
or the Wolver Stain.
Like birds going off.
There he would sit fishing.
Very faint though, because of course.
Silax and
high pitch sound you can't hear
piltax.
so well.
If anyone knows what those fish are, that's fine. Let me know. Okay, he would fish for hour after hour. He was reported to have frequently left a few fish on the windowsill of some poor people. So he'd leave food for them. It's interesting.
No, it wasn't a sort of a duck sound, was it?
No. See this?
Yeah. Wow.
Cross.
So there's another cross. Yeah. Just can't get a better angle there. Another cross. Yeah, you're quite right. Well spotted.
Been placed. Made.
It has been placed, yeah. Been wedged in there. Feel that cold breeze now? Really cold, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like an icy cold breeze coming up. Yeah, this is not a bad wood at all. This is that branch I took before, as we're walking down. Another odd one.
There is another account of North America. It's quite vague though. It's from a Buddhist missionary, Hui Chen, of the late 5th century AD. He talks about an island located to the east of Fusang, a legendary land that is identified by scholars as either Japan or somewhere in North America, which has he found dog-headed men located on that island. Yeah, I'm not going to go there with this one because it's just too vague location. Another thing now, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, I don't think we can confuse Sasquatch, Bigfoot with Cynocephalia. Cynocephalia is totally different, but one day they were counted to have clothes, trade, use weaponry, shields, and also there were different beasts from the point of view of they're more humanoid in body. Now with Bigfoot and Sasquatch, it's much more animalistic. Both in the way they look, the accounts of them, hair all over, massive big body, 600 kilos plus, massively tall. Then I never really heard of any accounts of them using weapons or clothing, so I'm going to count that out from history records, with Sasquatch being any way, shape or form connected with Cynocephalia. But yeah, anyway, leave a comment yourself if I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, leave a comment below. Let me know. That'd be good. I do read everyone and reply, and that'd be great. Okay.
So there's definitely game in this wood, even though it's quite small, and it's like in a way cut off, isn't it? You know, it is its own little wood on itself. There's still game in here.
Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it, and also finding out about the Cynocephalia as well. And please, if you like the video, then like, share and subscribe, and it really helps the channel. If you've been listening to it, once again, just follow. Really helps build the channel, and I know that I'm doing something right. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.